Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
A story that has the entire tech world kind of buzzing right now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of folks talking about this.
We're talking about this Chinese company called DeepSeek that's really shaking things up in the world of AI. They just built an AI model to rival ChatGPT.
Right.
But what's got everyone talking is how they did it with way fewer resources than anyone thought was even possible.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible what they've managed to achieve.
In fact, their accomplishment sent shockwaves through the market and caused Nvidia's stock to take a major hit.
Huge hit.
So what did DeepSeek do that's causing such a stir?
Well,
And what does this mean for the future of AI?
what's fascinating is that DeepSeek seems to be kind of rewriting the rules of the game here.
Okay.
You know, instead of trying to outspend the giants,
Right.
like Google and OpenAI,
Right.
they've found a way to achieve comparable results with a fraction of the resources.
And the market reacted big time to this.
Oh, yeah.
Nvidia's stock plummeted a whopping 16% in a single day.
Yeah.
That's hundreds of billions of dollars.
It's massive.
Potentially the biggest single-day loss in history for a company.
Yeah. It's really unprecedented.
What do you make of that kind of reaction?
I think it really just underscores how much faith investors had placed in companies like Nvidia.
Right.
You know, these are the companies that supply those expensive GPUs that we all thought were absolutely essential for developing advanced AI.
Right. Everyone thought you needed these huge server farms
Exactly.
just to get any kind of results.
And DeepSeek has basically thrown that assumption into question.
Yeah. So DeepSeek spent a reported $5.6 million on NVIDIA technology
Right.
and used just 2,000 of their chips to train their AI model, while competitors are using 16,000 or even more.
Yeah. Huge difference.
I got to admit, even I'm a little skeptical of that $5.6 million figure.
Oh, yeah.
Seems incredibly low.
I think you're right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Many experts believe that number is a vast underestimate. But even if it's significantly higher, it's still a fraction of what others are spending.
Right.
So it really begs the question, how did they pull this off?
Yeah.
Are they genuinely innovating, or are there some compromises we haven't discovered yet?
Did they use a smaller data set?
Potentially.
Did they sacrifice accuracy or robustness in some way?
I mean, it's possible.
Or did they actually stumble upon some revolutionary new approach?
It's certainly possible.
It's all very mysterious.
It is.
And DeepSeek isn't exactly forthcoming with all the details.
Yeah, they're playing their cards close to the chest.
They've mentioned that their model is open source,
Right.
but they haven't released the code or training data.
Not yet.
It's a bit of a black box right now.
Definitely a lot of unknowns.
There's been speculation that they might be using a technique called model distillation,
Right.
but even that doesn't fully explain their claimed efficiency.
No, it doesn't quite add up.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't AI experts,
Sure.
what exactly is model distillation?
So model distillation, you can think of it this way.
All right.
Imagine you have this massive, super complex AI model, like one of those used by Google.
Right.
Incredibly powerful, but also very resource intensive to run.
Okay.
Model distillation is a way to take that large model and essentially teach a smaller, more efficient model to mimic its behavior. It's like creating a streamlined version that can achieve comparable performance
Okay.
with far fewer resources.
So it's like taking all that AI knowledge and distilling it down into a more concentrated form.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why it's such an intriguing possibility in this case, but it's still a very complex process.
Right.
We don't know for sure if DeepSeek has mastered it to the degree they claim.
Right.
There's always a possibility they're using a combination of techniques,
Okay.
including some novel approaches we haven't even considered yet.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Definitely.
Imagine the possibilities if there are entirely new ways to train AI that we haven't even discovered yet.
It's mind-boggling.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
DeepSeek's model, even if it uses this distillation process, still requires those specialized NVIDIA chips.
Yes, it does.
How does their usage compare to what the big players are doing?
It's a stark contrast.
Okay.
Just to give you some context,
Yeah.
OpenAI reportedly used around 10,000 GPUs to train ChatGPT.
Okay.
Google is rumored to be using tens of thousands for their latest models.
Goodness.
DeepSeek claims to have achieved similar results with a mere 2,000 chips.
Really?
It's David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
And David seems to have won this round.
It's like DeepSeek is showing up to a Formula One race with a souped-up hatchback
Yeah.
and somehow blowing everyone else off the track.
Pretty much.
So even if the details are still murky,
Right.
DeepSeek's success has undoubtedly sent ripples through the entire tech world.
No doubt.
Nvidia's stock wasn't the only one to take a hit.
Nope.
Other AI-related companies like ARM, Broadcom, and even Oracle saw their stocks drop by at least 12%.
It was a bloodbath.
And it wasn't just a tech thing.
No.
The entire U.S. stock market felt the tremors.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was like a chain reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a domino effect.
Suddenly, investors are looking at all these sky-high valuations of all these tech companies and wondering if the bubble is about to burst.
Makes you wonder.
Especially those companies heavily reliant on AI development.
Right.
They're having to reassess their assumptions about what it takes to be successful in this field.
The old playbook might not work anymore.
So does this mean we're witnessing a turning point in the AI industry?
Well,
Is DeepSeek's frugal innovation a sign of things to come?
it's certainly possible.
Or is this just a temporary blip on the radar?
That's the big question, isn't it?
We'll explore those questions and more in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Good to be back.
In the last part, we were talking about how DeepSeek,
Right.
this Chinese AI company, is causing a major stir
Yeah.
by building a powerful AI model with way fewer resources
Right.
than these industry giants.
Yeah, they're really turning heads.
Their success sent shockwaves through the market,
Definitely.
raising some big questions about the future of AI.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into some of those potential implications
Right.
of this whole DeepSeek phenomenon.
I think DeepSeek's approach could signal a major shift in the way we even think about AI development.
Yeah.
Up until now, the prevailing mindset has been bigger is better,
Right.
with companies pouring just massive resources into building these ever larger models,
Right.
using huge data sets
Yeah.
and thousands of these expensive GPUs.
Right. It just seems like everyone's trying to one-up each other
Yeah, it's become an arms race almost.
with the size of their models.
Exactly. And it's created this situation where only the biggest players with the deepest pockets can really compete.
So it's like this exclusive club,
Yeah,
and DeepSeek just kind of crashed the party.
exactly. And that's what makes this so exciting, because if DeepSeek can achieve comparable results with far fewer resources,
Right.
it could potentially level the playing field,
Okay.
opening the door for smaller companies, research institutions,
Right.
even individual developers
Wow.
to make significant contributions to AI research.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it's pretty revolutionary.
Imagine a world where you don't need to be a Google or a Microsoft
Right.
to push the boundaries of AI.
It's democratizing AI in a way.
We could see this burst of innovation coming from all sorts of unexpected places.
Absolutely.
Smaller teams, niche applications, things we haven't even thought of yet.
Exactly. We could see a surge in these specialized AI models
Okay.
tailored to specific tasks or industries.
Okay.
It could lead to more diverse applications, addressing a wider range of problems and needs.
That's pretty exciting to think about.
Absolutely.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
What about the potential downsides? Could this lead to a proliferation of lower quality AI models?
That's seriously.
Like, what if everyone starts cutting corners to save money and we end up with unreliable or even dangerous AI systems out in the world?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something we need to be mindful of.
Okay.
Building robust and reliable AI is incredibly complex.
Yeah.
And it requires careful attention to data quality,
Right.
algorithmic design, and rigorous testing.
Yeah. It's not just about throwing some code together and hoping for the best.
No, it's not a trivial task.
So it's not as simple as just using fewer chips and calling it a day.
Right.
It's about understanding the trade-offs involved and making sure those trade-offs don't compromise the integrity and safety of the AI systems being developed.
Absolutely. And I think that's why the role of industry standards and responsible AI development practices becomes even more important in this new landscape as AI becomes more accessible. We need to ensure that it's being built and used responsibly with appropriate safeguards in place.
We've been talking a lot about the impact on the tech industry and AI development, but what about the broader economic implications of DeepSeek's success?
Well,
Could this change the job market as we know it?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
And one that's been debated for years.
Right.
The reality is AI is already having a profound impact on the job market.
Yeah.
And DeepSeek's achievement could accelerate that trend.
Huh.
Some experts argue that increased automation
Right.
driven by this more accessible AI could lead to job displacement in certain industries, especially those involving repetitive or predictable tasks.
I think that's a fear a lot of people have.
Yeah.
That robots are going to come and take all the jobs.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't dismiss it.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that technological advancements have always disrupted the job market. Right. Think about the Industrial Revolution or the rise of computers. New technologies create new jobs, even as they eliminate old ones.
So it's not necessarily about AI taking over all the jobs, but rather about AI changing the nature of work.
Exactly.
Requiring people to adapt and develop new skills.
The key is to focus on adaptation and reskilling. Instead of fearing AI, we should be thinking about how we can prepare for it. We need to invest in education and training programs that equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered economy.
So what kinds of skills are we talking about here?
Sure.
Is it all about coding and data science?
Well, those are certainly valuable skills, but it's about more than just technical expertise. It's about cultivating uniquely human skills that are difficult for AI to replicate.
Like what?
Things like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, and emotional intelligence. These are the skills that will allow people to work effectively alongside AI systems and to navigate a rapidly changing job market.
So it's about embracing a growth mindset, staying curious, and being willing to adapt to new challenges?
Precisely. It's not just about surviving in an AI-powered world. It's about thriving in it.
I think that's a really important message.
Yeah, it's about looking at the opportunities.
It's easy to get caught up in the fear and uncertainty surrounding AI. But we shouldn't lose sight of the potential opportunities it presents.
Absolutely. And that's why DeepSeek's story is so significant. It challenges us to think differently about AI, to see it not just as a threat, but as a tool that we can use to create a better future.
That's a great segue to our next topic.
The
geopolitical implications of all this. DeepSeek's success has made it clear that China is a major player in the AI race. And that's got some people worried.
Understandably so. For years, the assumption has been that the U.S. holds this unassailable lead in AI. DeepSeek's achievement, along with other advancements coming out of China, suggests that the reality is a lot more complex. We're potentially looking at a multipolar world of AI, where different countries and regions are vying for leadership and influence.
So it's not just about technological innovation.
No.
It's about power dynamics on a global scale.
That's a whole new game.
What kind of risks does that present?
Well,
could this kind of AI competition lead to conflict between nations?
It's certainly a possibility. If countries view AI as this zero-sum game, where one nation's gain is another's loss, it could create tensions. And even escalate into conflict.
Yeah, history is full of examples of that.
It's a pattern we've seen before.
So what can be done to mitigate those risks?
I think international cooperation is key here. We need to foster dialogue and collaboration between nations to establish these shared norms and standards.
For responsible AI development and use, we need to ensure that AI is seen as a tool for global good. Not as a weapon in some technological arms race.
So it's about finding ways to leverage the power of AI for the benefit of humanity.
Exactly.
While also addressing the potential risks and challenges it presents.
It's a balancing act for sure.
It sounds like there's a lot to think about here.
Absolutely. It's a complex landscape.
DeepSeek has certainly shaken things up.
No doubt about that.
But it feels like we're just at the beginning of this story.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
There's still so much to learn and explore.
Definitely.
As we navigate this new AI landscape.
It's an exciting time to be following this field.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
From the potential impact on AI research and the job market to the broader economic and geopolitical implications.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
DeepSeek's success.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore what companies, policymakers, and individuals can actually do to prepare for this AI-powered future. Welcome back to the deep dive. So in the last couple of parts, we've been really exploring this whole DeepSeek thing.
All the implications.
And, what could happen. So now I think it's time to kind of shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Instead of just pondering all the what ifs, let's get practical.
Sure.
What can companies, policymakers, even individuals like you listening to this, actually do to prepare for this AI-powered future that DeepSeek seems to have accelerated?
I think it's time to move from speculation to action.
Right.
It's about being proactive, not just reactive. We can't just sit back and wait to see how things unfold.
Yeah.
We need to start planning and strategizing now.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Sure.
Let's start with companies.
Yeah.
What concrete steps can they actually take to navigate this shifting AI landscape?
Well, first and foremost, I think companies need to embrace a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation.
Okay.
The AI world is evolving so rapidly.
Yeah, it seems like every day there's something new.
Exactly. What works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Right.
So companies really need to invest in R&D.
Okay.
Explore these emerging technologies. Be willing to experiment, and they can't be afraid to fail, to iterate, and to adapt.
It sounds like agility and flexibility are going to be key here.
Yeah, absolutely.
No more clinging to the old ways of doing things.
No, you got to be nimble.
Right.
And along with that, I think companies really need to prioritize ethical considerations in their AI development process. It's not just about building the most powerful AI or the most profitable AI.
Right.
It's about building AI that's aligned with human values.
Okay.
AI that respects privacy and avoids harmful biases. These things need to be baked into the development process from the very beginning, not just tacked on as an afterthought.
So it's about responsible AI development.
Exactly.
Making sure these powerful tools are used for good and not for harm.
That's the key.
Okay.
And finally, I think companies need to think strategically about how they can leverage AI to enhance their workforce, not simply replace it.
Okay.
This might involve investing in training programs to upskill their employees, redesigning jobs to take advantage of AI's strength while preserving those uniquely human skills, like creativity and critical thinking. So it's about finding that sweet spot where humans and AI can work together effectively.
Okay, so that's a roadmap for companies.
Right, a starting point at least.
What about policymakers?
Well, policymakers have a huge role to play in shaping this AI-powered future.
Yeah, for sure.
They need to create a regulatory environment that encourages responsible AI development while also protecting the public interest.
It's a tricky balancing act.
Oh, it is. It's a tough one.
Too much regulation could stifle innovation, but too little could lead to unintended consequences.
Exactly. So finding that balance is going to require careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. I think a good starting point is to focus on establishing clear guidelines around data privacy, algorithmic bias, and AI safety, ensuring that these systems are developed and used in a way that benefits society as a whole.
And I imagine they also need to be thinking about the economic implications.
Yeah, for sure.
Like how to support workers who might be displaced by AI.
Absolutely.
And how to ensure that the benefits of AI are distributed fairly.
Right. It can't just benefit a select few.
Okay.
So investing in education and training programs is crucial. Equipping people with the skills they need for these new jobs that are going to be created.
And policymakers might also need to consider new social safety nets.
Potentially.
Or policies like a universal basic income. To address potential job displacement and income inequality.
Yeah, those are all things that are on the table.
So it's a complex challenge. It is.
This demands this holistic approach.
Absolutely. It's not just about technology, but also about economics, ethics, and social responsibility. It's about shaping an AI-powered future that works for everyone.
Not just a privileged few.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered companies, policymakers. What about just us everyday folks?
Yeah. What can we do?
Listening to this.
What
can we do to prepare for this AI-powered world?
I think the most important thing is to embrace a growth mindset. Be curious. Be adaptable. Be willing to learn new skills. AI is going to change the way we work. the way we live,
Yeah.
the way we interact with the world.
Okay.
And those who are able to adapt and evolve will be the ones who thrive.
So it's not just about, becoming a programmer or a data scientist.
Right.
It's about developing those uniquely human skills.
Exactly.
That AI just can't replicate.
Yeah, the things that make us human.
Yeah, those skills that make us well-armed.
Exactly.
But
things like creativity.
Yeah. Critical thinking, complex problem solving, communication, and emotional intelligence.
Right.
Honing those skills is what will allow us to work alongside AI to leverage its strengths while also bringing our own unique human capabilities to the table.
I love that.
It's about collaboration.
It's like this reminder that while AI might be a powerful tool, ultimately we are the ones holding the reins.
We're in the driver's seat.
Yeah. We get to decide how we use it.
Absolutely.
What kind of future we build with it.
AI doesn't have its own agenda.
Right.
It's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
It's up to us to decide how we wield it.
Right.
What values we embed in it, and what kind of world we want to create with it.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
It really has.
We've covered so much.
A lot of ground.
From, the nitty-gritty of DeepSeek's achievement to this potential reshaping of global AI.
Yeah, it's really shaken things up.
I think the most important takeaway for me, and hopefully for our listeners, is that this isn't something to be afraid of.
No, I agree.
It's an opportunity to be thoughtful.
Yeah.
To be proactive.
Right.
To shape a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
DeepSeek's story is a wake-up call, but it's also a call to action.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the future is not something that just happens to us.
Right.
It's something we create together.
Well said. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
It's been a pleasure.
And all its exciting possibilities.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
We hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, hopefully some food for thought.
And we encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future you want to see.
Absolutely. Stay curious out there.